Hi guys, in this video I'll be sharing the curriculum picks that I am using with my 4th and my 6th grader this year. A lot of times I use the same book with both of them based on how they both learn at this period in their learning journey, but also it does make it easier for all of us to do more or less the same books. A few of the choices, it would be more grade specific, but a lot of them they use the same book. I just may require a little bit more from my now 6th grader. So for Bible study this year, I actually don't have anything on the table because outside of their reading from their children's Bibles, we are going to be watching the greatest legends and heroes of the Bible, like DVD series. We own quite a few of those and they still enjoy it, but I'm suspecting that they're going to get to the point, just now where they may not want to watch it as much. So I'm going to soak up this period, and on a Wednesday, we usually have a later start because they make like a bigger breakfast. Especially my 11-year-old, they love to make their own, to make their own breakfast sometimes. So on a Wednesday, we have a later start, similar to what we do on the weekend. So during that period, they are going to be making their breakfast. We're going to have the Bible, story playing in the background. And kind of like watch it and discuss and stuff. They've watched it quite a few times, so it's not like new to them. But it's just going to be something that we get to stimulate conversation, while they're having their making their breakfast. So that is what we're going to do for a good portion of the year. And then after that, I'm going to schedule to use about 2 or 3 of the Bible plans from my Bible app. I actually use my Bible app a lot, and I've done about 2 or 3 of those the kids' plans before. So I'm going to see what they have on there now for the kids, and I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 of those. So that's what we're going to, try and do for Bible study this year outside of their reading from their Bibles. All right, so I did get them planners again. Now last year, outside of they filling out their class schedule, they just filled in, the rest of the planner just a few days out of the year. But I really want to encourage them to get into the habit of planning out their days. So I did go ahead and get the same, planners. And they do have their class schedules, filled out to the front with the time that each subject is going to take. Their schedule time or school time is approximately 4:45. Of course, that might be a little bit more or less depending, but we do split. But this year, I'm having it where we're splitting that part in the morning, part later on in the evening, not later, but in the afternoon. But there's a break in between because there's some things that I need to be doing for, a couple hours in between there. And they're going to be working on some of the extra stuff during that period. But anyway, so we have our plan there, and then there's some specific things that I already know it's coming up in the near future. So I had them fill those out, and I'm going to try to encourage them to kind of plan out little things that they might want to work on during the day. All right, outside of what we need them to do. So I got them all planners. All right, so for math, my younger two, my 4th and 6th graders, they are continuing with Math UC. My 4th grader, they both still have a few lessons in the test book that they're working through. I think they're both on either 22 or 23. It's 30 tests in those little books. They're like these. So they're finishing those up, and then they're going to be moving on. So that was Gamma and Delta for them respectively. And then my 4th grader, she's going to be moving on to Delta now, and my 6th grader is going to be moving on to Epsilon, right? And I do have the teacher's manuals as well, because I did have to refer to them last year. And then we have the student workbook. I did want to mention that even though Math UC has been, our main curriculum, well, basically from the beginning, they have been using other, like what I call more regular or stream, like regular school math. We've done Brain Quest for quite a few years. I think I only stopped, last year for sure. Maybe the last 2 years, but before that we used to use Brain Quest, every year prior to that. Also we've tried IXL before, and we we've also used time for learning. Actually, on a Friday, unless I have it on hold, sometimes they use the time for learning on a Friday. I actually got that a couple of years ago when we had quite a few we had a lot of stuff, medical stuff, where I needed something for us to fall back on, and that's how we had tried it. So my point is that even though Math U C is our main curriculum, they are exposed to more regular math. So if it is they see long multiplication being done the regular way, it's not absolutely foreign to them, and that doesn't seem to confuse them. Their issue, or the problem we were having last year, was with finding the area, whether it's of a trapezoid or a rectangle. That finding the area for both of them, just it caused a little bit of a hiccup, but we've kind of got over that hurdle. All right, so for reading, we are going to be continuing with the last level of All About Reading. We'll be doing level 4. And I shared in a couple of videos that at this stage, I mainly use the reading curriculum with the tiles. I sit down and they sit down in front of me with the magnetic board and the tiles. And as I read through the concept, they practice it on the magnetic tile, with the magnetic tiles on the board. And we read the stories when indicated, have discussion if necessary, and I only refer to the activity book at this stage if it is I'm going to go through the word list or the phrases for just for practice or fluency. But this is going to form the main part of our reading curriculum, and after this they are going to be finished with All About Reading. They can both read very well. However, I'm just going to go through with the program just in case there's any, rules, reading rules, or even spelling rules that they will still, glean from or remember after doing it at this stage. So reading, this is the last level, so we are going to continue with that. And similar, All About Spelling, we are now on level 4. All About Spelling, I really do like the fact that this one is so much easier to even get them to do it on their own with the tiles. A lot of times they're able to get the book and the lesson and follow through and practice the concept on the board. And if it is they don't understand anything, then I get involved. So just to be transparent with that, a lot of times they actually at this stage, starting at a certain point last year, they're able to kind of do the All About Spelling on their own. If I wanted to go through the cards, the practice cards with them, or the review cards, I should say, that I do. I don't let them get the review cards. All right, so for grammar, we are going back a little bit. I used Fixed Grammar with them for the last 2 years. They did level 1 and 2, and they both really liked the Fixed Grammar. And it has really helped them to be able to, identify the different parts of the sentence. So that has worked out really well. However, I tried to share in a recent video that I'm trying to work on helping them with building, stronger sentences. We did do the Evermore paragraphs book during the summer, and that worked out well. But part of building their stronger sentences, I think that we still need a lot of work to be done in, within grammar. I was trying to find like a writing curriculum or workbook that has both writing and grammar in it. And I know Writing Rhetoric does have that. However, that curriculum, even though it worked well for one of my kids, I don't think that is going to work out. So that is not going to use that. So for now, I'm just going to do grammar and writing separate. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just trying to put some prayer on it and, just work with what we have, because I already know what writing curriculum I'm going to be moving on to next year, God spare. And I think that is going to really help them, and it's going to walk me through and helping them with really improving their writing. But at this stage, I'm just trying to work up to doing what it is I think we need to, some more work that I think we need to work on before we move on to that specific writing curriculum, and I'll mention that in a minute. All right. So for grammar, we're going back to first language lessons for a little bit. We did level 1 and 2 a couple of years ago, but at that time, I just didn't think moving on to level 3 would have been a good idea. I think that it would have been a little bit frustrating at that time trying to, introduce diagramming. Now, my goal is not for them to be, perfect diagramming, but I do want them to be exposed to it a little bit. So, in addition to us going through, just the grammar rules. The good thing about us pausing, even if I did this and if I did the level 4 next year, and then God spare resume level 3 in fixed grammar when my 6th grader gets into the 8th grade, that's going to allow for her to have a grammar all the way up to, that would be what, 11th grade, God spare, I believe. So, it will work out. It will work out fine. All right, so we're going to be doing the level 3. The only thing with us going back to the first language lessons, level 3, is that it is not independent. Well, the fixed grammar, a lot of times they were able to do the lesson, and then we will, meet once they completed the lessons for the week and discuss where it is they went wrong. And so a lot of times, so they had a lot of independence doing a good portion of the fixed grammar. This I will have to do with them. So there is that. But it's what I think will help at this stage. So that's what we're going to be doing for grammar. And for writing portion, this, I have to be honest, I am a little not the most certain, but I do know what it is I would like to move on to. I do know that I would like to move on to writing skill. I actually have the series already. I read the portion to the front that is geared towards the teacher or parent, and I don't think that we are quite ready to move on to this as yet. Plus, it is recommended to start with fifth to 7th graders, I believe, right? And I think it'll be best if we wait until next year, God spare, to start this. Now, she did mention in here that if it is, you think that they need more work with narrations, with summarizing, stuff. If after a certain lesson, they are still struggling with summarizing and being able to summarize in, 3 to 4 sentences or 2 to 3 sentences, which is what they practice a lot in the Writing with Ease series, then that might mean that they need to retest and see where it is they should be placed. If they need to go back to probably level 4 of Writing with Ease or whatnot. Now, I couldn't find the link to the test that like how some of these publishers have a test that you can take online to see where it is to place them. I couldn't find it for the writing, well-trained mind for the writing series. I really looked. However, and this year, my goal is for us to try and have them write as much as possible using what we have. Just write as much as possible. And also, whatever it is we're reading, have them practice summarizing, what it is we are reading, okay? In preparation for moving on to Writing with Skill next year. So I did get this classical quiz last year, and I was trying to, kind of do a little bit of it in between the Writing with Ease level 3, but that did not work out. Plus, we had another little small book that we was doing. It was just too much, so I eventually just decided I would just put this aside. And after putting it down, if I'm to be 100% sure, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with this. I was kind of floundering for a little bit, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and try this as their main writing curriculum. So we're going to do this on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for writing, and that is 30 minutes. And then on a Monday and Fridays, we are going to be using this building writing skills. So I had tried this a couple years ago. It didn't work out, but this year we are going to be going through this. And at a certain point, it does introduce outlining closer to the end of that book. And when we get to that, I'm probably going to use these. Now, my eldest, we did both of these. I actually really like this. It really lays out how it is to outline, your story. So once we get to the part on outlining in here, we are going to be going through these two because I really do like these. All right, so that is what our writing is going to look like for the week. So 3 days, classical quiz, Mondays and Fridays. the building writing skills. Later on, we're going to move on to this outlining. And I do have the Writing with Ease level 4 here, but I don't want to use this out as our main curriculum. I think they've done quite a bit of this, like the summarizing and narrations and stuff. However, I did pick out specific weeks, I think 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And on the Monday of those weeks, instead of doing the writing with skill, we are going to read the assigned story from here and summarize it, and then I can use the suggested summary that they have here to kind of make sure that I am checking to see if it is there summarizing with enough or sufficient details. So we're just going to use a couple lessons from here. And that's what we're going to do for writing. And, I'm really hoping that we can be as prepared as possible to move on to the Writing with Skill series. But I don't think that we are quite ready to move on today as yet. Because I am not doing this as a main curriculum, I'm not going to print out like all the pages. They're just going to write in a notebook. Plus the classical quill, sometimes a lot of areas it doesn't have enough writing space in there, so they have like notebooks that they're going to use to write whatever extra stuff that they need to write in there. And then for vocabulary, cursive, I had thought that they may not want to continue with cursive, but they actually said they really enjoy doing cursive. I had them have an input in a cursive and their reading comprehension, and they both said that they wanted to continue with cursive. So my 6th grader, she's going to be using the Can Do Cursive, and my 4th grader is using Cursive Success. My 6th grader, she used this one last year. I actually did buy there's a level 6 cursive. I think it's Cursive and Beyond. Even though that is not her main curriculum, she writes, my eldest, she does write in cursive. All of her stuff she writes in cursive. So I bought her that one just for her to continue practicing, to improve her cursive, since she tends to, like writing in cursive. So they'll be doing that. Then for reading comprehension, they're continuing with the Reading Detective series. Now, they finished the B1, not B1, sorry, the beginning last year. And I was contemplating if I wanted them to move on to the A1 as yet. So what it is I did was they started during the summer, and they're still going through just the concepts. So they're finding the concept in the table of contents. So like here it says fictional short stories and activity page. This is probably not the best example, but say it teaches about themes, because I do remember that, right? In that level, it teaches them about themes. So they will find where it introduces themes in the text, and then they will just read. They're just reading over the concept, and they're going through it like that. They're almost finished. Once they're finished with that, we are going to go through this level slowly, right? Probably even slower than we did with the beginning, right? I really like this Reading Detective, Reading Comprehension series. So they're going to be moving on to the A1, and my plan, God's spare, is for them to move on to then the B1, and lastly the RX. All right, so that's what they're going to be doing for reading comprehension. All right, so for vocabulary, we are going to be using the McGraw-Hill Education, and my 4th grade is going to be using the level 3 to 5, grades 3 to 5. My 6th grader, grade 6 to 8. And I like this one a little bit better than the Scholastic that we used last year. This one has, I believe, like 45 or 46 lessons, and each lesson has like a list of words, and then it has 3 practice sheets, right? And they do suggest other ways, of course, that they can improve their vocabulary, like, of course, by reading and, getting familiar with their dictionary and stuff like that. But that's how they suggest that they're going to get better with vocabulary. If it is they use those words in context and practice, and they give them 3 opportunities to practice the list of words given in that lesson, right? So that's what we're going to be doing, as I mentioned earlier, not for the entire school year, but a couple for the earlier part of the school year. They're going to be doing spelling drills using some of the words from their their vocabulary. So I don't think I'm going to be drilling my eldest this year though, but my 4th and my 6th grader, they are going to be doing a couple spelling drills using words from here. So that is vocabulary. For science, last year we did the earth science, and they actually really enjoyed that last year. We did earth science as our main curriculum, and then we actually, went back a little bit and reviewed a little bit of the human body and plants. And I shared in my update video that, I kind of sat down with them and we were doing the research using Gemini, and and kind of going through certain concepts, also using this core knowledge book as a guide to help us go through certain key points when it comes to the human body and plants, as opposed to using a specific curriculum. So that's how we kind of incorporated, doing a little bit of the human body and plants together with our main curriculum, the Earth series from this God's design, right? So, and then of course plants, they had a lot of hands-on experience because they were, like whenever they come out in the garden with me. All right. So this year, I did want to do, I believe it was weather I wanted to do last year with earth, but we only ended up doing earth. So this year, the goal is to do weather and then our universe this year. All right. And I do have the worksheets and stuff that I still have to print those out, but I have them, PDF versions, but that's our main, science curriculum this year. All right, and then for social studies, as our main social studies spine, they're going to be using the 180 days of social studies and geography, right? Now, 4 days out of the week, because Fridays, I tend to keep on the lighter side. On a Friday, when it comes to their main curriculum, they're probably going to still do math, writing, because I want to do the writing with skill, math, writing, and there was another subject that I said we're going to grammar. Those three we're probably going to do on a Friday as well this year, but then just very little with the other stuff. So for geography and social studies, it's going to be 2 days where they're going to be doing geography 15 minutes, social studies 15 minutes, and then the other 2 days, instead of doing this for one half of like one semester and then doing the financial literacy, to fill in for more, give them more within the economics portion of social studies, have them doing this financial literacy. Instead of doing this one semester and then moving on to this, I'm just going to have them do this 2 days out of the week, and for 15 minutes, and then for 30 minutes 2 days of the week, we're going to be continuing with this financial literacy. Now this is the grade 3. We started this last year and I am enjoying doing this with them. There's a couple activities in there, just little, like money activities. We have like little cutout money and stuff that they play with. And so that's fun. So we're going to continue with this and doing it like that. We're probably going to get through this faster than we did last year. So I do have the grade 4 book there already. So that's what we're going to be doing for social studies. And then for history, I am going to be, no, that's not that yet. We are going to be reading from the American history, the big fat notebook, American history. I am going to be doing a lot of history reading this year because I do want to try and read with my eldest as well. So like last year, the plan is to do a lot of read alouds when it comes to history. We've moved from a family of not really doing and really enjoying history to really enjoying, I want to say really, but enjoying history, right? So I am going to be reading from the American history book for them. That's probably not going to take us very long. And then lastly, for electives, they are doing Duolingo. I started them on Duolingo. So they have been using just a free version of Duolingo. We actually tried the Mango, I can't remember what it is, but it's Mango Languages. It's actually free from once you have like a library card. So we tried the Mango Languages, but then I had them try Duolingo and they prefer the Duolingo, but we're using the free version. So they're doing Duolingo, and on a Friday 15 minutes, my eldest, she's actually going through the computer science and coding book with them. They have actually been, dabbling with HTML and CSS, my two younger ones. So she's going through this with them as, just something to kind of get them, just to touch a little bit on, computer science. All right. So electives are going to be doing that. And they're also going to be doing the Duolingo, and they draw. They have been, my eldest is drawing, and they are taking, not to the same extent, but they are drawing with her as well. And that's going to wrap up our school year. I feel pretty, a lot of stuff that we are using, it's not really new. The only area I would say, even at this stage, it's still early, very early in our school year. We just started a week and a half ago. However, I must say writing, it's, we're going to put some prayer on that. But anyway, that is going to be what our main curriculum for this school year. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have a successful school year, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye.